Welcome on into our second game of the day. This one's going to be between ELSR, the NA second place representative, and STCN, the Asian third place representative. And this one's been taking place on North. And the green team for this game is going to be ELSR. And they're going to be running St. Vincent, Salem, Venezia, Nevsky, Stalingrad, Gearing, Marceau, and Ragnar. SeaRaptor, what do you have for their opponents?
Opposing them from the south spawn, STCN fielding a couple of St. Vincents of their own. His Majesty King Charles III approves these battleship lineups, ladies and gentlemen. Routing things out with Des Moines, Moskva, Nevsky, plenty of radar, and a 4-destroyer lineup. That's a Gearing, Kleber, Marceau, and a Harugamo.
We gotta roll
that R.
Yeah, we didn't have a Harugamo in the previous series, in the previous games, it was banned, but that is a lot of St. Vincent.
That's a lot of St. Vincent. That's a lot of HE spam too. And I'm curious. We've seen already the Harugamo seems to be a little more popular amongst the Asian teams than some of the other regions. We've already seen it banned by some of the teams that are playing, in some of those games that are coming later. And I'm curious to see if it's as impactful as some of these guys seem to think it will be.
Well, the big strength for Harugamo is it's very often played in the EU server, and it's basically you want to pair that up with a Des Moines, so you can make some sort of long jump from island chain to island chain and have your Des Moines. Like, basically, you use the Harugamo for a very deep push between two island chains to get it up to the next dangerous position. Mm-hmm. With the Harugamo on this one, it looks like they're going to be doing the same sort of thing, but for their Des Moines over on the 910 line. There seems like, they're going to be trying to get it jumped up. Let's take a look at these initial deployments, since everybody's had a little chance to sort themselves out. For the green team on this one, we'll have the Gearing and Nevsky already going to be smoke radar. They're going to be spotting out the Marceau and the Kleber with that radar already. They have a St. Vincent and Venezia behind them. B cap, we have a Ragnar and Stalingrad. And then over to C, we'll be sending the Marceau, St. Vincent and Salem.
Now, before we get too far away from talking about Harugamo, right? The Katushi's Harugamo here down along the G line, that is a unique upgrade Harugamo, which, if memory serves, and Pains or check me on this, that changes how the smoke of the ship works. It becomes a crawling smoke, almost like the Italian cruisers, does it not?
It's not exactly, but close enough. It gives you a longer smoke emission time. It doesn't necessarily follow you as well as the Italian cruisers or Perth or Minotaur, but it gives you a very, very long smoke screen.
Okay.
Which means that you are able to smoke up a large distance.
Much larger area. Okay, all right. So we'll see how they decide to deploy that.
The problem is, it goes in your 6th slot, so you are giving up a lot of concealment for that.
Yes, you are. Or the 5 slot, you mean?
Yes, sorry, 5 slot.
Yeah. Well, it's a triple destroyer deployment here on the western flank for STCN, but they haven't been able to pick up A yet. The early radar from Kokuri's Nevsky back there, pushing everybody off the cap. I'm going to be curious to see how they try to break back in here, because their Nevsky radar back here, that's Lil Boy, they're going to have a bit of a struggle bringing him a little close enough. I think does his... Yeah, there's actually a gap at the top of the cap where ALSR could be capping if they wanted to. That radar coverage isn't there.
Yeah, so basically this Kleber and Marceau have now got this very big problem. They wanted to get deep in and try and get some early damage onto the Gearing. They didn't manage to get that with their radar from the Nevsky. Instead, what they've found is there's a Venezia and their own Nevsky waiting for me. And that's really hard for the Kleber and Marceau to play around. They have no way of getting deep enough to get vision to return fire onto the Nevsky, Vincent, and Venezia. In the meantime, as soon as they're spotted, they're going to have to worry about Venezia ASAP. And as you discussed previously, that hurts a lot.
Yeah, if you take a load of that at the wrong time from one of those opposing Venezias, it can really ruin your destroyer's day. As now 4 minutes in, each team's managed to grab a cap. We see here ELSR bagging the B cap, STCN grabbing A. C for the moment, very, very quiet. We've got all of these ELSR ships that have pushed out to the 9-10 line, maybe looking for a push that doesn't seem to be coming. STCN seems to be mostly set up, content to receive something on this side of the map, and, well, right now, nothing doing.
Yeah, if either of those teams wanted to go, aggressive with their Salem or Des Moines, they could have already, taken the islands on the E and F lines and just had some, very hard-to-dislodge control over the C cap area, but it looks like nobody's really interested in taking C. They literally do not want to aggressively push that. They are waiting for the opposing team's push. And meanwhile, the Ragnar spent about 2 minutes. He had a very long reverse route into the B cap. Finally takes it, and now the Stalingrad and Ragnar is like, we got nothing here. What do we do now?
Yeah, Luger looks like he's moving up, trying to find some shots. He might have maybe some really long-range shots on Luboy's Nevsky down there. And I think what they're going to do, I think they're going to drag Quincy back over to C to try to pick up this cap, realizing that, well, for whatever reason, STCN's not really interested in it right now. They certainly aren't close to it.
Now, the Vincent north of A did take a torpedo from the gearing. He's going to be popping his damage control party. Not the end of the world, but, torpedo hits, it's something. It's something. It's the only damage we've really seen so far.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot. Well, I say that. Genshin just took a huge salvo from something.
I think he took a torpedo.
Oh, he took a torpedo. Yeah, there we go.
So that's 2 successful torpedo hits from the gearing there. One on the Vincent, one on the Venezia. That's going to be a painful experience. Both of them going to be damage controls, not going to be taking any permanent fires or permanent floods. But, it's you don't want to take torpedoes. That is Citadel damage. That is not something you heal back very easily.
Generally a bad play. Now, with that said, Vladina's St. Vincent, which is the STCN battleship on this flank, absolutely has been chewed up by presumably fire, maybe a torpedo or two. But he's had to pull back as well, as now Kokuri's Nevsky very close to this cap. Busters is gearing, trying to get in here and pick it up, and it looks like they're fishing for him in the smoke. He's not there. He's going to convert the A-cap.
Yeah, look, if you're spotted anyway, you may as well try and take the blind fire shot. Take a guess. What's the most likely position he's going to be trying to capture from? You do have the RPF markers from the Kleber and gearing to give you some sort of general indication. You can both combine your radio locations and ping on the minimap exactly where you think he is, and then you just have your nearby cruisers blind fire it. It's a whole experience. You might get lucky. Didn't quite get lucky that time. Neither did the torpedoes, but they're all close.
6.5 minutes in, and so far, everything coming up ELSR. They've got about a 50-ish point lead here and growing as they have managed to convert the A-cap. They hold the B-cap. And again, for the moment, neither team really making a play at sea, although I think finally Katushi's Harugamo and Zabayev's Des Moines are finally starting to make this move up the 10 line.
Yeah, STCN have now realized, okay, we need to make something happen. There's so many of these ships that haven't been spotted, though. The Stalingrad has never been spotted. The Salem's never been spotted. Stephen and his St. Vincent has never been spotted. They don't know where the Ragnar is. They don't know where the Marceau... None of these ships have been spotted. So they're scared of committing into this because they know that there's potentially 6 ships waiting for them at all sorts of positions. It's such an odd situation, though, that there's been so little pressure on this sea cap. At any point, somebody could have walked in and taken it, and nothing would have been done about it.
Oh, Katusha just took a torpedo there from the Marceau, as now the Ragnar radar is going to pick him up, and they're going to have the opportunity here to potentially put him out. Hu Tao's Marceau chiming in. I think they're going to pick this kill up, Pains. I don't think he can get out of it.
No, that's a very unfortunate position for that Haraguma to be caught out, and salvos coming in from all around.
Oh,
yeah, that was just
big AP salvo there, and just textbook play there, taking a torpedo hit and then converting the kill.
So I think he took a little bit of a greedy turnout from that. I think he could have just beached up against the island. He got his smoke screen down. He could have just waited at the island. He knows I'm pushing with the smoke. My position is now compromised. They know exactly where I am, even if I'm not hard spotted. I should probably take a little shortcut at this island just to make sure nothing painful comes out, because they didn't know, as we said, the position of this Vincent, Ragnar, Marceau, and Salem, and they just found it out the hard way. They do, however, get their Marceau into the cap, so they can at least stop trying to stabilize this point income, but they're still going to be way behind.
Yeah, they're 300 points down now. There's Races finally going to convert the C cap and start getting them their first positive points of the game. They've rotated Alka's Kleber back here towards B, trying to pick this cap up. Now, I don't think he's lit, but Luger's sitting here. Well, actually, Luger's radar is down. He must have used it a moment ago to sniff him out or drive him off the cap the first time, but he's got an opportunity window in here that he could cap now if he wanted to.
Yeah, the Stalingrad is forced back by those torpedoes. He didn't want to risk anything. He was reversed out, but he does run that acceleration module in the 3rd slot. So was it the 3rd? No, the 4th slot. So he's going to be able to accelerate out of danger. So those weren't really a threat. And now this gives the opportunity for the Kleber to be like, I need to go in. I need to take this cap. I need to stem the bleeding. They're also doing the same thing with their gearing and the A cap. They're going to be stepping on that cap immediately. There's also going to be a radar coming out. It's going to pick up Little Buster's gearing north of the cap as well.
Yep, Buster's caught under that radar from Luos Nevsky in the background, and ZKS's gearing is also chipping in.
Those torpedoes could be very dangerous heading into that smoke screen, though. In fact, those are very dangerous.
Yeah, I think ZK is going to take one of these and go out. Oh,
he's
man.
alive, but barely.
He survives it, but just barely. A handful of HP, but they succeed in driving him off the cap. As Alka's Kleber is going to be able to pick up B. I don't think they have a way to stop it now. Races Marceau is actually rotating that way to join it.
That gearing is right on the edge of this Nevsky's radar. It's like there's still 15 seconds on it. If the Nevsky gets one salvo at him, ooh, he's fiddling that edge of that radar there.
Don't seem to know quite where to pick him up. He's running just a couple of dozen meters ahead of this radar line. Remember, guys, we can see those. The players obviously have no idea where that line is.
We have some interesting Marceau on Marceau action. With the red Marceau is caught completely bow in. He has no right to win this fight now. He's going to go down. There's no way he gets out of this.
I think what they were trying to do was double French destroyer tag team Luger Stalingrad, and they rotated back Hu Tao, who was able to blunt some of this, But Alka's here. Are Luger's guns looking? They are. Here it comes.
That should not have been a trade. He had no right to get that trade. Okay, the clever rush is coming around the corner, drops the torpedoes early, saves the second set.
Yeah, I don't think that first set's going to do quite as much as he wanted.
Neither
In fact,
the
the first
second
set's a complete miss.
Oh.
And only it's one out of the second set.
He needs to get the full turn off now. Stalingrad to get another salvo, has the chance to incapacitate. The clever does have a damage control available. Is he going to have the torpedo arming distance? This is a very awkward position.
He's going to be able to get the torpedoes off. It's a question of how many he's going to get them all. He's going to get
1,
them
2,
all.
3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh my goodness. He blew the starboard ones, but the port ones all land home. A textbook Kleber assassination from Alka's.
Stalingrad got himself caught with these amidships against the rocks there. Couldn't quite get down the channel like he wanted to do, and that's just left him in the dust. So we have 2 kills to 2 kills, 2-cap lead currently in favor of the red team, which I believe is STCN.
STCN clawing their way back into this game. They've narrowed the gap to less than 150 points here, 9 minutes to play.
Back over at the 10 line, it looks like this Des Moines might be in a world of hurt very soon. We have the St. Vincent, Ragnar, and Salem all waiting to go around on him, and the only thing holding it back is the kiting St. Vincent, he's giving up more and more ground. He's not interested in saving his friend the Des Moines, who should probably go down. It's a matter of time. He's not exactly going to be having fun with the St. Vincent raining AP through his face without overmatch.
A moment ago, when they traded the Marceaus, I felt like that was a decent trade for ELSR, because at the time they had a cap lead, they had a ship lead. Well, they didn't have a cap lead, but they had a ship lead at that moment. And I remember thinking, oh, that's not so bad. But then they basically lost the Stalingrad for free, more or less. And now it doesn't feel so good. Now, it looks like they are going to be able to get busters gearing into B to recap it. But these ELSR forces over on the 9-10 line are a little caught out here, and I'm curious to see how they make this play with Stephen St. Vincent.
Well, he goes around the corner. He doesn't quite get him with the first salvo. I think he has another turret still.
No, he fired all 3 turrets there, I'm pretty sure, but the torpedo is going to seal the deal, and there it is.
Wiggly torps, the future.
So now Stephen's got to maneuver to try and preserve his health, keeping an eye on one last kisses St. Vincent off to the south, as Quincy's Ragnar now making revolutions towards C.
Yeah, he should be able to take this.
And Buster's gearing into B.
The Ragnar, if he runs into the Kleber of Alcatel there, he will be able to win that gunfight unless the Kleber catches him point blank and gets a torpedo off. But that shouldn't be happening, especially with the Kleber's current directional heading. Bearing? Bearing. That's the fancy word, right?
Yeah.
So Ragnar should be able to take that. That should then probably put this points firmly in favor of ELSR when they have all 3 of these caps being held.
To me, the big question is, can they keep Stephen St. Vincent off the board? Or at a minimum, at least trade with STCN St. Vincent off to the south? Because right now, it doesn't look like they're going to make this trade, and they really shouldn't give up those points.
Back over at A-Cap, we see the St. Vincent is muscling his way forward. He did get a big hit onto the Alexander Nevsky of about 10k. They might be able to force the Nevsky and Venezia further back and allow their gearing to get back on the cap. But here's the thing. St. Vincent kills St. Oh, that's over on the 10 line.
That was the St. Vincent over on the 10 line. We were just talking about that. So STCN claims a kill back, but they're about to lose control of their final cap, which is C.
Yeah, so, Nevsky takes another big chunk. They are going to force this Nevsky further and further back. This will allow the gearing to step back on that. That'll stabilize A-Cap, but at the same time, they've lost B and C, and it's getting harder and harder for them to find any way back into this game.
Curry's in a bit of a pickle there. He's 60 seconds from his next heal. His radar is available, but he doesn't yet know. He looks like he's using it now. Yep, he's popped a radar.
Is he going to get the gearing kill?
Oh, they can spot the gearing. They can see ZK's gearing now. They caught just a glimpse of him.
Oh, it's not quite enough.
They need only a handful. One shell. There it is. There it is.
Impact player picking up that kill there.
That's a big kill for ELSR, because they're probably going to lose Kikuri here, but his radar has a big impact before he goes off the board, as now ELSR owning all of the caps.
Yeah, and right now I'm looking at ways they can get back into this game. They have a St. Vincent on the 10 line, nowhere near the cap. The Kleber is behind the Salem and Ragnar, but I don't think he'd make anything happen from there.
Very, very lonely out here, and if he really doesn't want him to run into the Ragnar or the Salem.
The Moskva as well. Somebody just got chunked.
That was Gretchen. Gretchen Salem now over here on the 9 line or 10 line is now running directly away from the St. Vincent, and I would be in that situation as well.
Yeah, they finally got the Moskva turned around, but I think it might be too little too late. There's 1:30 left on the gameplay clock. We might be able to get the St. Vincent and Nevsky into the A-Cap and stem it a little bit, but even then, it's still going to be ticking.
Nope, we're about to have a Ragnar Marceau duel. Quincy's about to come around the corner and discover Alka right in his face,
if he
and there
can
it
get
is.
his torpedo rush off, the Ragnar can't really stop him. Like, the Ragnar has no
I think he'll be dead before those torpedoes arrive. Now, he needs to get him off if he can. He knows he's fired. He's got the AP in the barrel, so he's doing that correctly.
He's going for the other side?
He's trying to bring this. There are those torpedoes.
2 sets dumped.
Can he get him? Can Quincy get the trade? He needs to get this trade. He doesn't.
He doesn't get. Oh, it's 300 health.
Alka survives on 300 HP.
Salem pops his radar, doesn't quite catch him. Okay, the Clever's going to be able to get back into the C cap now, and that's going to leave 2 points getting capped. There's still going to be something. They need to do something about B, but there's potential to get the Nevsky in there. He is going to have to 1v1 at St. Vincent.
Holy
but there's
cow.
potential.
Is STCN going to climb back into this game?
That is definitely a possibility for
they have a kill lead now, which I would not have predicted. I really expected that Ragnar engagement to go the other way.
I did not expect the Clever to get away with that scot-free.
I figured he'd get the torpedoes off, but I figured that the Ragnar would bag the kill before he died, and it didn't happen.
Yeah, I think the Ragnar was scared of giving his belt, because if you give the belt, the Clever just loads its AP, pops his reload booster.
And he was firing a lot of AP there. Like the Alka knew exactly how to handle that engagement. He loaded the AP, he fired, he popped the reload booster, and man, what a big kill for STCN.
So it looks like the St. Vincent bag over A cap isn't going to be able to take this cap completely for free. We do have a Venezia chain resetting him because he does have little busters forever.
Yeah.
Just he's going to be sat there spotting, torpedoing. At this point, the St. Vincent, I just live in this cap.
Yep.
My job's to try and deny points.
All they can do is try to hold those points back because ELSR's closing in on 900 points. And so they either have to kill the St. Vincent to accelerate. If they kill the St. Vincent, that'll absolutely accelerate the game timer. In fact, here comes Oguri's St. Vincent putting a really good HE salvo down on Vlad there. That's going to force Vlad out of this cap and allow ELSR to start ticking up those points again.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to get back into there at all. He's out of the game. He has no heals left. He has no damage con once this one goes down. I think he should just go down to the next St. Vincent salvo. Meanwhile, back over on the 10 line, I just want to point out that Salem decided the best course of action was to go back bow in. I think that's a very risky maneuver going to 1v1 that other St. Vincent.
Ooh, they bag Vlad's kill over on the 3 line. That accelerates things. We're now less than 30 seconds here from an ELSR win. If I'm Gretchen Salem here on the 10 line, all I'm doing is trying to avoid engaging this St. Vincent. The worst thing that could happen right now would be for them to get a shot, punch out this St. Vincent, and get a time extension.
This St. Vincent should be able to get this kill. He can just drive around this corner. He has the wiggly top.
He doesn't have the time. Look at the time. 6, 4,
3, 2, yeah,
2, 1. Game over. There it is. ELSR with a win here. They almost found a way to not make it happen, but they pull it together, bag a big kill there at the end, and carry home victory.
Yeah, the biggest problems I saw in this game for the Red Team during that was just not being able to use their ships that they had. So many of them committed over on the 9-10 area, and just kiting Moskva that late in the game, and then the Haragumo getting unfortunately caught out, and the Marceau Clever trade. That was an interesting one in the middle of the that was they pulled that back 2 kills for 1. Not sure how, and then they even converted a 3rd kill off that Clever late game as well. Alcatel had the game of his life there, but it wasn't quite enough.
Yeah, STCN with some really critical kills that kept them in that game longer than they should have. I feel like they missed an opportunity to pick up the C cap earlier than they did, but they did finally get over there and then had some big impactful kills, but not quite able to turn a win out of it. Let's go back and see what the boys across the room have to say.
What do you?